Intermittent fasting, simplified. I'm going to break it down and give you some practical methods to try this, and you should, because it is one of the most powerful tools you can use to lose weight. Now, I do the intermittent fasting, but I don't need to lose weight. Why do I do it? Because there's many, many more health benefits. If you're trying to lose weight, there's basically two ways to do it. You can constantly restrict calories. That means you lower the calories and you keep that the same as you go along. Or you can intermittently restrict calories. And both of them have benefits, but one of them may have significantly more than the others. This study caught my eye. It was a 2017 study, and some of the original data goes back to 2011. They looked at intermittently restricting calories on men who were obese, and some of the findings were very impressive. So this is the constant calorie restriction. They restricted calories, and then they quit, and then the weight goes back up. Now, obviously, you have to eat the correct foods if you don't want it to go back up. But here's the intermittent calorie restriction. Weight went down significantly more, and it stayed off significantly better. So that's interesting to me, and it makes me think my patients should be intermittently restricting calories. But this is the biggest thing that I got out of this. Look at the difference in their metabolism. Now, anytime you lose weight or restrict calories, your metabolism is going to slow down somewhat. Intermittent calorie restriction, it gradually went down and significantly. Constant calorie restriction. Intermittent calorie restriction, it went down more initially in the first 4 weeks, but then it came back up. And there is a 400 calorie difference in that. So if you don't want your metabolism to slow down a lot, as it did with the people that were on the Biggest Loser show, then adding in some intermittent restriction of calories can be helpful. And I'll show you some examples. So one of the ways you can do this is called the 5-2 plan. You eat normally 5 days a week, and then on 2 non-consecutive days per week, you restrict the calories to about 500 calories. A study on this showed that it is a practical way to lose weight. They had people do the 500 calories or just restrict 500 calories off of the diet every day of the week, and they found in this study that the weight loss was about the same. Now that's a little puzzling to me because it shouldn't be the same, but they're just taking 500 calories off of whatever you're eating. And how many calories do we eat in America? Way too many. 3,600 calories in 2013. So you take 500 calories off that, it's not going to do much. One of the significant findings from this study was that when you restrict calories significantly on one day, it doesn't tend to make you eat more calories on the day you don't restrict calories. So it's not going to get you in trouble just by restricting calories every other day or 2 days a week. This is the biggest study that changed everything for intermittent calorie restriction. It was called the Human Fasting Mimic Diet Program, and it was based on a plant-based program to try to mimic fasting but still have people eating. So what they did in this diet was 5 consecutive days per month they went to 500 calories, and the rest of the month they ate normally. And then the next month 5 consecutive days of 500 calories and then normal. And they repeated this for 3 times. 5 days per month for 3 months, and they had significant benefits. Now, I actually was at the medical conference in 2017 when Dr. Longo, who developed this program, presented his findings. And the findings were impressive, and not specifically for weight loss, but for other things. So 5 consecutive days per month, they restricted calories to 500, but it's a specific 500 calories. Plant-based, low protein, low sugar, low calorie. It was designed to have 0 animal protein or fat for those 5 days, and they were given packaged foods, which I'm always a little leery of, but soup mixes were healthy, and kale chips and nut bars, herbal teas, algae for some omega-3, DHA, a multivitamin powder, but in general, all the foods were low inflammatory foods. Now, if you're following the 7 Systems Plan, we have a very anti-inflammatory food program, which is significant. The results, the people lost 6 pounds over the 3 months, which is not a lot. You know, patients going through the 7 Systems Plan will lose 6 pounds in 2 or 3 weeks. They did reduce body fat, they lowered their waist size, losing the abdominal fat, which is significant, and reduced their blood pressure. So good improvement in all of those areas, but among the most significant things were the decrease in inflammation markers. So when you restrict calories, your body can do things to lower inflammation in your body. And one of the tests was C-reactive protein, and it dropped significantly. And we want C-reactive protein to be real low because that means you don't have inflammation in your body. Inflammation drives almost every major health problem that we have in America. They found that the greatest improvement were among the people that had the most problems. So the most overweight or the most inflamed or the highest blood pressure, they saw the most benefits. And many of these benefits persisted 3 months after they quit doing this, which also tells you that if you do something healthy, it can have a lasting effect on you. So they measured body mass index, blood pressure, IGF-1, a marker for inflammation, it went down, glucose went down, triglycerides, cholesterol, LDL, and C-reactive protein. Good benefits in each of those categories. And what the conclusion was, these results indicate some of the benefit effects of multiple cycles of fasting mimic diets may last for several months. So what exactly were they eating? Well, they had a vegetable soup mix with lots of good vegetables, a mushroom soup mix, tomato soup mix, and then chip snacks, which I wouldn't recommend, but they were made of healthy things, and then an energy bar made of nut butters and seeds and nuts. Now the problem with this is it cost you $750 to go through a cycle of this for 3 months, which is significantly expensive. What about just making up your own program? And having a functional food shake, like we use on the 7 Systems Plan, it's got all of the macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbohydrate, and you got to make sure you get some good protein in. It's got vitamins and minerals. And then having a large salad with greens, sprouts, avocados, vegetables, nuts and seeds, and a healthy salad dressing, and you're coming up to about 500 calories, and you will get the same or better benefits doing this. So there's lots of fasting mimic diet methods, lots of fasting methods. The 5-2 plan we've talked about here. You can also do the alternate day fasting, where on alternate days you restrict the calories to 500 or even fast. Now that's a very aggressive way, which has tremendous health benefits, the maximum weight loss. The 17-hour fast, we teach about that on the 7 System Plan, is simply restricting your eating window to about 7 hours a day. You just cut out breakfast to do that. Or the 23-hour fast would mean on that day you just have one meal. And if on those days where you're restricting the time, you also restrict the calories, you get maximum benefit. And there are lots of different methods that we dive into in the 7 Systems Plan. And I think everybody, whether you need to lose weight or not, should be using that. Diane, one of our patients who went through the 7 System Plan, lost over 50 pounds, and every marker that she has improved tremendously. So I want to encourage you to try intermittent calorie restriction. Now, whatever you do, you need to eat healthy every day. So make sure it's just not whatever you want on the off days. Follow the suggestions in the 7 Systems plan. If you want to do the 5-2 plan, it's just 2 non-consecutive days per week, restrict the calories to about 500, and try these different methods. And what is the absolute best one? The one that you can continue to plug into your schedule. So check it out. And if you need help, the 7 Systems Plan course is available with hundreds and hundreds of helpful tips.